Come on in, have a treat, turkey sweet treats. It's a podcast that can't be beat. Heavy metal news down the way you've never heard before. With a little bit of fun and a little bit of laughs and a little bit of what? We're gonna do it tonight. Do it tonight, the Shane Jive Talk. Now, Jesus. I came out of the gate with that one. I thought it was strong and tough. I started thinking about all the good times, when I'm sitting there playing like that. I'm thinking about all the fun we're going to have, and then I forget what I'm supposed to do. Remember the Tim Limday? Well, welcome to episode 157 of JIve Talkin with Shane Diablo. This is a no request zone. Down in the comments, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on the last episode that we do. That's where you put your comments. So down there, that is a no request zone, episode 157 of heavy metal, hard rock, and podcast news for you in your ears. But I got kind of thrown off there because remember all that As I Lay Dying stuff about the singer and everyone was quitting the band and everything that we did back in the As I Lay Dying band. Jesus, and I'm not going to show you these videos, but these two little clips surface of him, and he is just cray with the pounding his chest and punching himself in the face, and it's just like, wow. So I'm sitting there doing that intro, right? Come on, sweet, it's a sweet treat. It's gonna be so fun. I wish I could have done that in the intro. The whole time I'm sitting there talking about the sweet and fun times, I'm thinking about him punching himself in the face. I mean, did you do that when you was a kid? Like you're 10 years old or something, and you'd say, "Ma, can I have these Legos or Lincoln Logs or however old you are?" And they say no, and you go, ugh. I mean, I'm going to feel really weird if you're like, "No, Shane, I never did that." I mean, I wasn't like slap myself all the time or anything, but I'm just saying this grown man is slapping himself about the face and punching himself in the face. And he's like 30s or something like that. But anyways, Jesus, let's get off that because we've got a lot of news to talk about here. We've got Tony Iommi, we got Zakk Wylde. We've got a double dose of Mark The Animal Mendoza, bass player for Twisted Sister, because at the very end of this thing, we're going to listen to, he put out a Christmas song called I'm Your Christmas Present. He's your Christmas present. And, of course, we've got your comments. So welcome, one and all. I hope you ingested that turkey. If you didn't eat the turkey and do all the thing like that, that's fine, too. You don't have to. But if you choked down some turkey, you're probably just about sick of it. You don't want to hear the word turkey for another couple months, if I'm right. And Meemaw, Peepaw, you don't want to hear those words either for a few months. Aunts and uncles. You don't want to hear from none of it, right? Let's get into it. Tony Iommi on Metallica, because, Black Sabbath, he just says, man, it was just amazing what they did what Metallica did with that sound. So let's find out what he's got to say about Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath legend, guitar player, on Metallica. What they did with the metal sound, turning it into thrash, was fantastic. In a recent interview with Guitar World, it's a very good magazine, that Guitar World. It's for guitar players. And anything and everything that you'd ever want to know about a guitar, it's in Guitar World magazine. Black Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi was asked what he thought of his band's influence on the thrash movement, on all movements, which was popularized by such acts as Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax, the Big Four. He responded, "It was nice to hear those thrash bands paying tribute to us. It's great how they are able to push it forward into something new and turn it into something their own thing. Where am I at? I was just coming up with things I liked, so it was brilliant to hear other musicians liking what I'd done. taking the same kind of idea and improving on it, evolving it into their own sound, like Metallica, what they did. For instance, who probably learned things from us as well as other people. What they did with the metal sound, turning it into that thrash, was fantastic. They've always been respectful to us, and they lovely guys too. I love their attitudes towards things. They got nice, sunny, shut side up attitudes. The way they write and everything. It reminds us a lot of what we were. Everyone in one room rehearsing together and taking it seriously. Ozzy's taking it serious, dude. Wasn't Black Sabbath called like the polka something band for a while, and then they were Earth, and then they were something else? You can't call yourself a polka band and say we are dead serious. You can't do that. Metallica members Lars Ulrich and James Hetfield inducted Black Sabbath into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in March 2006 in New York City, the Big Apple. In a moving speech, Hetfield choked. He choked up as he painted a picture of himself as, oh God, I don't like making jokes when he's going to go deep. Hetfield choked up as he painted a picture of himself as a 9-year-old introvert who found salvation in the din of Tony Iommi and co. He was drawn to them. Who is this? He was drawn to them like a shy boy to his own loud voice, Hetfield said at the event. Those monstrous riffs lived inside him and spoke the feelings, and he could never put it into words, sending chills of inspiration through him. Yeah. From those gloomy lyrics and outlaw chords and all. He added, I realized that without Sabbath defining sound, there would be no Metallica. You would never hear it. If Black Sabbath didn't exist, you would never hear anything. Technically, you could say if the Beatles didn't exist, we wouldn't hear nothing wise. Because even go look up an interview with Ozzy Osbourne, and what's he going to tell you? What did we talk about a couple of weeks ago? It all goes back to the Beatles. Yeah, the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And Ozzy and all of them, they say, oh, boy, I watch it. Sharon, I sat down, I was a wee little kid. No, he was 68. He was a teenager. Then he sat and watched the Beatles. They all do it. So, influence. But James said, I never know. My timeless and influential band, they have spread the wonderfulness disease through generations of musicians. They are always listed as an influence by heavy bands to this damn day. They are loved and highly respected as the fathers of heavy metal. I love you, James. Do you have a daughter? I would like to be your son-in-law, if I could. Ulrich, for his part, said, obviously there was no Black Sabbath, there wouldn't be no Metallica. If there was no Black Sabbath, hard rock, and heavy metal as it's known today, it wouldn't even look like that. Sounds and shaped very, very differently. He's kind of a wispy, though, huh? It's like, sounds and shaped very, very differently. So if there was no Black Sabbath, it couldn't possibly still be morning newspaper delivery boy. I could still possibly be morning boy news delivery boy. No fun, no fun. Was he delivering the papers? Was he delivering the damn paper in the neighborhood? Read all about it, son. Sabbath joined what I considered a very short list of... Is this Lars? Sabbath joined consider a very short list of artists who can claim to be synonymous with a specific genre of music, he added. Ooh, no matter how you fucking slice it and dice it. When you say heavy metal, the word black freaking fracking shack and Sabbath hovers in the shadows fighting for the pole position. Hey, that's nice. I like that. That's my favorite Dawkins song, was hovering in the shadows, fighting for the pole position. That's my favorite. On any given day, the heavy metal genre might as well be subtitled Music Derived of Black Sabbath. Sure, we all respect to Blue Cheer. We're enamored with Led Zeppelin. Oh, we're enamored with them? And we're in awe of Deep Purple. And of course, admiring. What about that band Diamond Head that you took a bunch of songs from, Lars? You're not going to put them in there? You say Blue Cheer and Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, but you're not going to go ahead and say a Diamond Head? Really? Very interesting. Admiring a Steppenwolf and John Kay's first utterings of the words heavy metal. But when it comes to defining a genre is it genre or genre? And doesn't matter. Within the world of the heavy metal music, Sabbath stands alone. Hovering in the shadows. They stand alone atop the hill, hovering in the shadows of fighting for the pole position. I love it. I love it. What's this, X Factor? If he goes into aliens, we'll keep reading. If he doesn't, we're moving on. They took pre-existing elements of blues. You want to know how they got how Black Sabbath did it? They took pre-existing elements of blues, rock, and soul. What about polka? In the right amount of darkness of the street cred, and fuse those elements with a previously undiscovered X factor, whatever that fuck that was, creating something unheard, unexperienced, unique, and utterly groundbreaking with their huge hymn of doom. Black Sabbath are an entire entity of their own. I mean, he's not wrong, and he's a beautiful poet with his words, isn't he? Why do I feel like this whole damn green screen is going to look like a sack of shit? I mean, he's a very poetic fellow. In my mind, the only word that fits in the word pioneer, they were, and much more importantly, still are considered pioneers of all things heavy. Beautiful. What's he say about Boris Karloff? I like that. Johnny B's or Mike Buchanan's going to have shit if I don't read about Boris Karloff. He was in damn near every bad movie that we love, anyways. What's he say? There were so much important and all considered pioneers of the heavy. All the metal bands or the so-called subgenres of the metal still trace their lineage to one place. 4 kids in their late teens from the black country of Birmingham, who named their band after the 1963 Italian horror movie starring Boris Karloff. Subsequently, they changed hard rock, and by doing so, the entire family tree of metal and everything that metal, for better or for worse, stands for. I mean, he's a very eloquent fellow. I mean, I'm starting to just go, Lars, I'm loving you. He's got a way with words. Stands for, was and will forever be invigorated and, dare I say, elevated. Let's get on to it. Zakk Wylde. Jamming with Pantera is just easy peasy. We're just like a huge family, so I wanted to get a little bit of that. And we're going to go into a little bit of Mark Animal Mendoza, because he's saying, hey, there might not be Twisted Sister might come back. Charlie Benante, we got him coming up too, where he talks about how he had a little talk with Vinny, Paul, Pantera, and Vinny says, yeah, I like to incorporate your ideas. All of a sudden, it's like, well, Vinny told me one time he loved the way I played the drums and tried to kind of create his sound off of me. So it's kind of easy for me to be in this band. Zakk Wylde says, touring with Pantera is easy damn peasy. It's really like a huge family vibe. In a new interview with Nikki Black of the San Francisco Bay Area radio station 107.7 The Bone. We remember Jackie Black. She says, welcome back to The Bone. And we're sitting here with Zakk, the Zakk Man Wylde. spoke about his ongoing touring activities with the reformed version. Why am I sitting weird? Reformed version of the Pantera, also featuring surviving members Phil Anselmo on the vocal, Rex the Rex Man Brown on the bass, alongside Charlie Benante and Thrax on the drums. The lineup has reportedly been given a green light that is not a red stop sign or a yellow holding pattern. It is the green light by the State of Pantera's founder drummer Vincent. I always get that name. You can't put Vinny and Vincent in there without me thinking about old Pantsuit. Did you watch my video on Vinny Vincent? Can you tell your friends too? Please? Vincent Vinny Paul Abbott. That is the name that should be spoken here, but I see the words Vinny and Vincent and Vinny together, and I think of Pantsuit. I think of not my friend, but I think of Vinny Vincent. But this is Vincent Vinny Paul Abbott, the guitarist, and Dimebag the Dime D-Man Abbott. Asked how the Pantera Celebration Tour will continue in the next couple of years, and whether there is a chance of a live album or even possibly new music, Zakk said, well, it's all up to Phil and Rex. It's real easy peasy. We just hanging around. And if Rex is just like, hey fellas, let's just put this song in the set, or whatever. Or perhaps even maybe Phil, like, let's try this one. Or whatever, then me and Charlie learn it, and then we'll pull it in the set. So, that's where it's at. But it's a great hang, I cannot tell a lie, because everybody in the crew and everybody out there, we've all known each other for years. Even with the crew people, the little ones, the peons. It's just like whether they've been out with Ozzy Osbourne when I was rolling on the No More Tears tour. Everybody knows everybody. So it's really like a huge family vibe out on the thing. It's a great time for sure. And see so many people taking trips down memory lane. And the Pantera faithful that saw Pantera back when they were playing the clubs. I saw him. I saw him once, and I told this story before, but I saw him once at Monterey, what's it called? Monterey Bay? Whatever the hell it is down there in Vegas. I think Soulfly was with him on that tour. But it was just about the end of it when they were calling it quits and stuff. But my God, they were just a great damn time. Phil was just the life of the party on that microphone, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. But I only saw them the once. I feel like my freaking arms are going numb. So I got to sit back like this so I can stay in the damn green. What are we going on about? It's a great time for sure. And seeing so many people taking their trip down memory lane. My God. The Pantera faithful that saw him back in the day playing in the small clubs. Shane talked about his experiences when he saw him. And then you'll have all these new kids, youngsters, which is amazing. Oh, because Phil, every night he's just like, how many people saw Pantera back in the day, motherfuckers? And I said, like, you have the Pantera faithful, and then when he goes, how many people, this is their first time hearing these songs? It's really mind-blowing. How many young kids, because they never, when the band ended, when the guys took a break, they'd hear about the legend of Pantera like the legend of Black Sabbath. I never got a chance to see the original Sabbath. So when they got back together, it was just like, wow. Now I can go see him with Ozzy and Bill Ward and Tony Iommi, whom Shane just did a story about, and Geezer Butler back when they did their Ozfest. That was huge. It was a big deal for everybody that never got a chance to see it because you were too young. So I think it's a beautiful thing. And keeping Diamond Vinny's what they created with Phil and Rex, this is an amazing thing. So I think it's a great thing. It's beautiful. Oh, this guy is just a sweetheart. I'm filming this on Thanksgiving, by the way. So you guys have had yours. I ain't having much of it. I ain't having much of it. I'm cheating on my sparkling waters. I had to grab a soda pop, but I'm not happy about that. Got to put the lids on these things because you accidentally do something stupid and then they fall over and spill. Are we done with this shit? I mean, we got all the time in the world, remember? When Black noted that it sounds like Pantera is a fluid type thing, like a fluidity. And that you guys are really on board with however it evolves in this coming years. Zakk concurred. He said, I must concur with that, you finally. Jackie, what's her name? Nikki. Didn't even have to look for it. Nikki. Yeah. For 2025, we're rolling right now. It's just going to be all Pantera all year long. So, that's what's going on right now. Go over to Europe. Then we'll be back in the States, and then we have a bunch of Metallica shows. So, yeah, it is awesome. It's a wonderful life. If you can have it, it's a damn wonderful life. Let's get into Mark. This fella has such a style. For some reason, my video, Let's Do the Tube Steak Boogie with Mark The Animal Mendoza is going up for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's in the news. But I did a video, and I can't exactly remember what I called it, but we just watch him and his kind of backyard blues band to do the Tube Steak Boogie. And for some reason, it's starting to shoot off. So go take a look at it. Maybe it'll turn you on. Mark the Animal Mendoza on possibility of Twisted Sister reunion. Hey, never say never. All right? Nearly 2 years after Now remember too, guys, Dee Snider's one of these calling everybody out, saying farewell horse shit, then you come back 2 years later, give me a break. Okay? And now the Mendoza man, he might have been having a little conversation with Dee Snider. And he says, he ring, yeah, I want to talk. What's up there, Animal Mendoza? He said, well, I got a leaky roof and, I sure could use a little bit of scratch. I can't help you. I'm sorry about that. Okay? But will you remember the story we talked about where Dee Snider basically put his name on the lyrics and all the songwriting and everything? So he takes all the money and they got leaky roofs. Nearly 2 years after Twisted Sister's one offstage reunion at the Metal Hall of Fame in Agora Hills, California, Mark the Animal Mendoza was asked by the Rockstrap podcast about his current relationship with his longtime bandmates. The bassist said, as transcribed, these guys in the band, we're all, we all talk, all right? We're all good friends. We talk often, I dare say. Obviously, A.J. Barrow, late Twisted's rest in peace, sweet sir, is not around with us anymore. 'Cause if A.J. were there, it'd be the five of us. We love stand-in, what? Oh, and we love stand-in drummer Mike Portnoy. Really? He's the fill-in guy. That's Dream Theater. That's, what else is he? A ton of projects, that Mark Portnoy. He's very good on the drums. But he doesn't know that all the inside stuff on the band. But the four of us, that would be Dee Snider on the vocals, JJ French on the guitar, Eddie Ojeda the Fingers Man guitar, and myself. We have a group text. Once every 2 months or so, somebody says something idiotic to somebody else. And it's like a nuclear war going off. That stuff that goes on, I sit here and I read it and I get in on it and start crying. It's so fucking funny. Yeah, I bet you that thing's damn filthy. When you get those text chains going with your friends and stuff, you're only saying filthy stuff, right? I mean, it's boring otherwise. Just ate lunch. Oh, good. What did you have? Someone's like, he had a fucking salad again. What, are you kidding me? Regarding the possibility of more Twisted Sister reunion shows in the future, Mark said, we never say never. That's the song. Never say never, never say never. There's not talk of it now, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. I think as long as the four of us can get on stage and perform and nobody else dies, well, Mark, you need to take a little better health of yourself, okay? Out of all of yous, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying you should exercise. And I think as long as the four of us can get on stage and perform and nobody else dies, which, God forbid, I don't want to see that happen. There's a slight chance. But we're not talking about playing. None of us are saying, hey, let's do it next year. Who knows what happens? And just like you say, somebody gonna need money. Yeah. Because some of the biggest hard rock hits in the world were written by Twisted Sister. Most commercialized songs, we're not going to take it all that shit. And you guys are over there going, somebody's going to need money? No. All of you five guys should be saying, nobody needs no fucking money. That's what I'm saying. IMO, right? In my own opinions. And we're going to have to play. And it ain't me. So he's all right on money. He can do it. He was in the what were they called? The Dickies? The Dickhead? What were they called? The punk band. He's kick ass. I put all those clips in that video. Go watch that, Mark. Just put Shane Diablo, Mark The Animal Mendoza. And then I've got a bunch of clips in there about him. He looks like a caveman in one of them. But this past April, Dee was asked about it on the Hooks Rocks podcast. Now, didn't we mention the Hook Rocks podcast and Dee Snider? And he said, he podcast, if he and the rest of the Twisted Sisters would consider coming back together for a special performance. The singer said, as a result of all the bands retiring and dying, the offers get bigger and bigger and bigger to hold out to come back. And we're retired in 2016, I think it was. So we're on 8 years now and not playing, with no intention of coming back. But my father, he says, everything before the word but is bullshit. Well, I like that. Everything before the word but is bullshit. At some point, you got to say, well, how can I say no to that? All right, we're over it. Because now Dee Snider has turned it. I mean, I love you, Mark, the Animal Man. But you give off. I want you to stay safe in your life, okay? Get on the treadmill. Charlie Benante, he's going to tell us about how when Vinnie Paul said, Psst, oh, Charlie, I'd like to tell you something if you don't mind. I stole some of your great ideas. That's how Walk and all those songs. Yeah, it was kind of you doing it. That's not what he's going to say. I'm being a jerk now. Okay, guys? Let's see what he's going to say. Don't be presumptuous. What do they call that? Don't assume things, right? What's the saying? Makes an ass out of you and me. Assume. We don't want to assume things because it makes an ass out of you and me. And I'm the only one that's sitting here talking. You're the one listening. But you're still in trouble for it. You're still in on it. Because you're listening to me and you're saying, okay, I'm going to assume what Shane's about to say is true. You're guilty. Charlie Benante. Vinnie Paul told me, you want to know what? Vinnie Paul told me that he'd taken pieces of my drumming and applied it to Pantera. Okay. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. In a cover feature of the latest issue of Fistful of Metal magazine, a special thrash issue, Anthrax drummer Charlie Benante opened up about the band's long-awaited new album and why it's taking so long to complete the follow-up to 2016. I think we know why, don't we? Been on tour with Pantera for 2 years. Why it's taken so long to complete the follow-up to 2016's For All Kings. He told Oran O'Brien, it's always been a priority to finish the new Anthrax album. I don't want people to think that my involvement when Pantera had anything to do with it. Prolong the completion of the new Anthrax album. I don't want that at all. It just came down to the fact that some of the material wasn't finished. We went back and redid some things and we weren't entirely happy with it. You have to understand something, Oran O'Brien. Please. You have to understand that some of these songs are COVID. So we're going back on ideas from a long time ago. After we started layering all the parts for the new songs, it was unanimous feeling that some of the stuff we were doing just felt out of date, kind of. So we decided to give it some time and revisit at a later date or a later stage of writing. We are just trying to make this new record the best that we can possibly can. With a busy summer touring the Pantera live shows now out of the way, he gave his afterthoughts on performing those classic songs and overall experience of sitting behind the kit and playing Vinnie Paul Abbott's drum parts and bits. It's awesome. I take any of those. I don't take any of this for granted. I feel extremely privileged that I'm in this role. I love those guys and my history with Pantera as a band and also Vinnie and Dime. You know, late Pantera guitarist, Dime D-Man, Daryl Abbott. It goes way back, my relationship with Rex, Rex Brown, Pantera bass player, and singing fella. What was his name? Yes, Philip Anselmo, Pantera singer, is as important as it was with Dime and Vinnie. He added, there's been days on tour where we were just hanging out, and the stories will start to come out about brothers, and I can see Philip and Rex just light up when we're sharing memories of the guys. I really think this experience for both Philip and Rex, and I do call him Philip. It's the proper name. It's what his mama named him. He goes by Phil because it's like a cool little name that you would have in high school or something. But on his birth certificate, and I asked his mother myself, was his name Philip? And she said yes. So Philip and Rex is really what they needed. Not only for the fans, but for those guys. This has been a very therapeutic experience for all of us. But especially for Rex and Phil. Get on about where you're talking about. When asked about adapting his style to the drum parts originally written and recorded by Vinnie Paul, Benante said, well, it's very interesting because technically it's all my style that he was playing because he was stealing my goodies. Don't be assuming. He says, hey, I've never told this to anyone before, but today on your channel, you're going to get it. I felt like my accents were going all over the place. Would you tell me the truth if they were? Or would you just sit and lie to me? Oh, I never told this to anyone before, but today you're getting the scoop. Vinny told me numerous times that he'd taken pieces of my drumming and applied it to Pantera. Vinny was like, oh, you know what? You know the part of the anthrax spreading the disease, and I took that idea for this track. When he told me that, I was like, dude, are you serious? And his response was, absolutely, man. So when I listen back, I can actually hear what he was talking about. He was stealing all my ideas. No, he didn't say the stealing part, okay, guys? It's fake. This is what he actually said. I can actually hear what he was talking about, period. And if Vinny was still here, because the kids will say, picture or it didn't happen. But if Vinny was still here, I'd be showing him some of his drum parts I've used on a few Anthrax tracks. Some drummers have to have really big egos, and they don't usually discuss things like that. The truth of the matter is, whatever you listen to during the course of your life, from a teenager to an adult, the style and flair and the music is inevitably going to be, spit that right out, didn't I? Inevitably going to be an influence. I've had Joey Jordison's Slipknot drummer, have you ever heard of him? Rest in peace. Tell me the exact same thing that Vinny told me. Slipknot and Pantera stole Charlie Benante's style. Can you believe it? Let's get on with something else here. Mark Tremonti. We got one more story here that we're going to listen to. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we're either going to hear a bit of Mark the Animal Mendoza's Christmas song called I'm Your Big Christmas Present Now, or we're not. Because if they say, we're going to clip you, your whole video belongs to us for something like that, not going to happen. Mark Tremonti, one of his biggest bucket list things is to become a published author. This guy can do it all. He rocks the guitar. He sings. He's in several fantastic bands. He can do Frank Sinatra. Spot on Frank Sinatra. He wants to be an author? I'll tell you right now, you're going to see this guy, Mr. Tremonti, if he goes under his name, his pen name, you're going to see him on the New York bestsellers times list. I'm telling you. One of my biggest bucket list item things is to become a published auteur. In a brand new interview with Mark and Me podcast, that's fun, Creed and Alter Bridge guitarist and acclaimed solo artist Mark Tremonti revealed that one of his biggest bucket list item things is to become a published author. He explained, I've written one book that I finished called A Dying Machine. Would you like a synopsis? No. Because authors love to give the synopsis. If you get in that book talk or you get, like the social medias, all them authors, they do that. They give you a little quick synopsis of their book. And I thank them for that. I appreciate that. Now, I wrote a book called The Dying Machine, but that was a co-write with John Shirley. And then I finished another book that I just wrote exclusively. And then in the middle, I'm about 200 pages deep into this novel, dare I say, that might take me forever to finish. But I want to get a publishing house to take me under their wings and cradle me there, nice and warm, next to their clockwork innards. I can hear the beating of the hearts in there. I want them to take me under their wings. Where is it? John Shirley, middle, 200 pages. Why am I lost, guys? Why can't I find it? Am I going crazy? And just think. Take me under my wings. Publishing house to take me under the wings and see what happens. Hold me tight. So that's one of my biggest goals in life right now. And just think, I traveled around the world where I could go to bookstores on my days off and I could market this thing. He's selling it to the publishers now. I'll be a traveling book salesman. Oh, that's what I'll do. Back in September 2022, Tremonti was asked by Lou Bredis at a Hard Drive Radio. How you doing? I'm Lou. Would you consider one day releasing an autobiography? Well, you never know. And these days, I always like to say that. You never know. I'll have to live a little bit more, though. You've had a pretty good life so far. If we're putting lives, let's put them up against each other and okay, here's the thing. An interesting book you'd like to read. The Interesting Life of Tremonti right now, or The Interesting Life of Eric Gronwall. Which one? Or both. You could be a book nerd and say both. Well, you never know. I have to live a little bit more life before this happens. I want to write my fictional book first. Tremonti went on to clarify that he previously wrote a full-length work of fiction with John Shirley based on a Dying Machine concept album. Oh, okay. A concept album released in 2018 by his Tremonti project. Those never do good, right? Where you do the movie and you do the rock album, and then someone would say, yeah, Shane, what about The Wall? Pink Floyd, The Wall. We printed up, I don't know how many copies of it, sold them out. And then people advised me, if you want to get a publishing deal, you've got to stop selling them so you can get the deal. He explained, I've written a new story. One of the toughest things in my creative career, if you want to call it that, was getting this publishing deal. I've been up and down, left and right, gone through I've done everything to try to make this thing happen. And getting a publishing deal is, well, it seems way harder than getting a record deal. Well, are we done with that? It's a pixelated picture of him, but, Let me have another little sip of my soda here, guys. Let's get over here to his Christmas tune. I've got it keyed up to a little part here. It's like, my heavens. Is this his gal friend? What's her name? Marla? Marla Adler? Should we read some of the story? I'd like to know who she is, and perhaps it's his beloved. And that's a very romantic thing to do. If you're Mark The Animal Mendoza and your gal pal says, I'd like to record a Christmas song with you and put it out. That's what a sweet lover and a sweet man does. He says, yes. And I'll even put my name on it. I won't be like, somebody else. Twisted Sister bassist and Mark The Animal Mendoza has collaborated with singer Marla Adler So probably nothing, right? No relationship there. On a Christmas single called I'm Your Christmas Present. The track, which is now available on all major streaming services, this could run us into a problem here, guys, was released via Two Stooges Records, because Three Stooges is copyright. Little taste of this, and if you don't hear it, you know exactly why.
Open up your presents. Let's have a Merry Christmas. Open up.
Open up your Christmas. Oh, Christmas presents. Open up. I mean, that didn't sound too bad. Was he just funking out the bass on that? I don't think he's going to get in there and go, open up your presents. No. I sure hope you heard that. If you didn't, I apologize. Let's get into your comments. The best part of the podcast is when I get to read your thoughts and opinions here. See, all the news stories and stuff is just a cheat, so you'll come and talk to me each week on these videos. So let's get into it. Johnny the John Man B coming in here says, not a lot to say this week due to massive holiday schedule, but I will say this. Anytime Yngwie Malmsteen is mentioned, all I hear is you doing Joe Lynn Turner's thick British accent, pronouncing the same Yngwie. I die laughing every damn time. I mean, it's fun to do. I ain't gonna lie. I thank you. Johnny B says, I wish you and this awesome community a very happy Thanksgiving, and I'll have more to comment next week. Until then, ... Keep your knees to the breeze. P.S. He's got a postscript. Is that what that is? I literally just said that and felt like that was right. P.S. You really should think about doing an entire video solely based on Ozzy and Sharon having an in-depth discussion. Holy shit, bro. Could not contain the laughter during that. Something where they're lying in bed. And he says, Sharon, you drank my beers again, didn't you? Ozzy, I don't even drink. Mike Buchanan coming in here, the 69er man. Another week, another movies that are bad, but we love them anyways. Popcorn, 1991. I don't know, I mean, if you're going to pop popcorn, you might as well be watching popcorn while you're eating popcorn, right? Popcorn is a genuine overlooked classic. For a horror fan, discovering this film is an absolute treat. I'm going to have to go watch it. It is equally funny and charming as it is legitimately terrifying in all of the right doses, never crossing over into spoiling its humor or just enough fear to keep your heart racing. The characters are, for the most part, likable, nothing spectacular, but the film makes up for this with a very intriguing and ever unpredictable villain. What happened there was I started to think about how good I was reading, and then I goofed. I don't know why. And a plot to match. If you like horror films in any way, you will get more than a few kicks out of this movie. One of my personal favorites and a cult classic that has never been fully realized. There are three main films within a film. Mosquito is 3D. Oh, is this an anthology? Mosquito is a 3D film, uses a giant mosquito to buzz the audience. The Attack of the Amazing Electrified Man uses shockoscope gimmicks, electric buzzers in the seats, and The Stench uses odorama. Oh, yes, okay. I see. I know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. But I know that what you're talking, that's what they used to do back in the old days. They put a shocker in the seat or pipe something stinky in there or whatever. Grab your favorite beverage, sit in your favorite chair, pop some popcorn, and press play. He's got a compliment. He's getting a thumb today, too. I enjoyed the Eric Carr video, so yes, I am watching these in a different order, and it's Monday morning. I will say that he's my favorite of all the Kiss drummers. Probably has to do with he was the drummer of Kiss when I discovered Kiss. Yes. Well, he said he enjoyed the video, guys, so that's what happens. Compliments get you everywhere. Mike Buchanan on Stephen Piercy. I seriously doubt that the surviving members of Rat will ever get back together again. Maybe one day. Not sure if I agree with Rat being part of the arena tour. Really? They were a band that was on the verge of becoming huge, and then they released Reach for the Sky, and it all came crashing down. Is that tune? That album and that tune? Huh. My cat's throwing up outside. Oh my God. You know, you get done doing something like this, having a ball, having a good time. Gotta go scoop up a big pile. Dogs and cats do have their drawbacks, right? Their perks, their ups and downs. Mike Buchanan on Jason Bonham, a complete legend when it comes to drumming, and probably one of the only guys that's been on more million-selling records than any other drummer on this planet. Whoa! I want to see, what you talking about, Mike? Get yourself a Diet Coke if you know that great television program. Everyone knows that, though, right? Everybody knows what that is. Let's see. On the planet, Jason happened to be replaced with Kenny Arnoff, who happened to play with Sammy in Chickenfoot. So they already had a relationship. So I guess Sammy just decided to stick with him instead. I mean, yeah. Theoretically, exactly what happened. Mike Buchanan on Ozzy. I have no issue with hunting. I do, however, have an issue with hunting just to kill an exotic animal just for the hell of it. Hunting for food serves a purpose. 100% agree. Hanging a head on the wall is just gross. I 100% agree. You know, it's slightly off-putting, you know. When you walk in and you see a massive moose head on the wall, you're like, God damn. What are you, admiring my moose? I killed it with my bare hands. After I shot it, I had to go and jab it 1,000 times. I didn't hit the organ that killed it right away. So I had to go over and I'm sorry, Mike. Mike Buchanan on Ozzy. I have no issues. Okay, hunting. Yeah, it's just gross. Shane, you need to be sponsored by Liquid Death. Someone needs to make this happen. I mean, I drink them. But I don't want to get paid with soda pops, with sparkling waters. I want to get paid cold, hard cash, and I don't want to do anything for it. So, yeah. No, it's Mike Buchanan's JIve Talkin Jokes of the Week. It says, and before I get to the jokes, ... I'm wishing everyone a very happy and enjoyable Thanksgiving. Hope it was a good one for each and every one of you out there. Well, that's very thoughtful. We'll see how mine goes. I haven't done it yet. So we'll just see how it goes. Maybe you'll be hearing about that next week. And now it's time for the JIve Talkin Jokes of the Week. Why did the police arrest the turkey? They suspected foul play. Why did the turkey cross the road twice? To prove he wasn't a chicken. What key won't open any door? A turkey. What? Did I goof that? What key won't open? Okay, I got it right. If you call a large turkey a gobbler, what do you call a small one? A goblet. Finally, what happens when you're too harsh on the cranberries and make them sad? They turn into boo. blueberries. Is that a Christmas song? I'll have a blue Christmas without you. Dum, dum. You know what song I just started to learn on the bass? You guys will love this. You'll say, oh, someone will say, this guy is not fucking heavy metal, I tell you. You know the song, how long has this been going on? I just learned how to play that almost all the way through on the bass guitar. It is from the band Ace, back in the 70s. How long? Go listen to that song and then listen to that Chuck. I like those bass lines that are in a beat. You know what I mean? So you're... You know what I mean? Does that make any sense to you? Miss Althea coming in here, the dumbstruck fool, says Stephen Pearcy. She's talking Stephen Pearcy. I always was and still am a big Rat fan, bigger Rat fan than Motley Crue fan. Therefore, his comments about billing order were subjective. I personally would want Crue to play after Rat, as that would leave me free to leave the venue. That's great, effective thinking, though. I was going to say, no, you want the big band to be the star of the show, but she's got a great point. You put them in the second slot, put them right before Motley Crue. They've got a nice big 45-hour set. You rock out, and then as soon as they pop those lights on, you get out. And everyone's there. That's brilliant. I would otherwise have to endure Crue's entire set, or at the very least go meander about the concession areas for part of it before getting to see Rat. Yes. And I have walked out on Crue before, twice. And I would do it again. Really? I do find it hard to believe that Bobby Blotzer is ready to go for yet another Rat reunion when he and Steven have been butting heads for so many years. Trouble waiting to happen, if you ask me. And maybe if you ask Warren DeMartini, too. Perhaps that is why he doesn't want to be involved. Very good, very good. Miss Althea on Jason Bonham, I had no idea he was working with Sammy Hagar. And I don't follow Sammy anyway. So that whole thing was totally inconsequential to me. However, if he was let go and not given any grace to tend to his family, then that's pretty disrespectful. I agree. You know, but I mean, Sammy went and spilled the beans on what was going on with his mom. So, you know, and that's a serious thing that maybe he wants to be right there for. Miss Althea on Ozzy, I agree with the cause, but all I could see with the lion on the t-shirt was MGM branding. Oh boy. Is there a copyright infringement case waiting to happen? Oh boy, that's not good, right? Ozzy's on Google looking for images and he just found the MGM lion and put it on the shirt. He'll be making another t-shirt for him and Sharon to raise money for them, I'll tell you. Miss Althea on Yngwie, force and gummies don't go together in my opinion. It almost, because it was Yngwie's Rising Force vitamins or whatever, and they were in a gummy form. And she says, don't go together in my opinion. It almost sounds obscene. So I would lobby for either a name change or better marketing. It's hard to market to Yngwie though. You know, did I give Mike his? I didn't give him anything. No, the guy bang and boom. You're all getting hearts. Come on now. You're all getting hearts and thumbs. There you go, bang. Miss Althea, yeah. But could you imagine trying to work with Yngwie? Yngwie, we've come up with a great. You know. Here's our marketing ad for your new multivitamin. You see it? Who we got here? Seinzierled? Well, hello. 2 hearts and 8 comments. Well, you're getting another one here. The Ozzy story reminds me of Megadeth's Countdown to Extinction. Is it? Is that what Dave's going on about? There you go, buddy. Dale McMillan coming in here. Let's take a look. Dale McMillan coming in, and 3 hearts received, 8 comments. Sure, sir, you will be collecting your heart today. You're awesome, Shane, and a thumb. Keep calling them out, big guy. Love your honesty. Okay. You know, I gotta stay. I can't be lying. Dale coming in here again. He's rapidly collecting them hearts. Did it update? Let's see. No, maybe it updates later. I don't know. Dale, he says, Rat ended the day Robin died. For any of them to carry on after that is retarded. Well, I don't know. You might not be getting a thumb for that one, bud, because I don't think that's the proper nomenclature anymore. But, I mean, there's some people that feel that way, right? As soon as Robin died, that's when the whole thing died. Okay, there you go. There's a heart. Jolly Jake Lavelle, I know this is taboo and that I will be cast out in utter darkness. But I request some more crooner Yngwie. Hello, uns Yngwie. There you go, buddy. There you go. Pancake Punch. It's great. Pancake Punch. 3 comments, all right? He will be collecting his first heart today. Congratulations to you, Pancake Puncher. I need to start putting this info on my own channel. You've got a channel? Well, go look at it. LOL. I try to help a lot of other people out. I enjoy your channel. Well, there you go, buddy. Bang. Go check out the Pancake Puncher. Pancake Punch. You go by Pancake? Say, how you damn doing, everybody out there? It's Pancake back with you. We're gonna tell you the stories. Tell me a bit what you, yeah. And Pancake Punch coming in here again. It was something about he's going to tell us about the story where they got taken for $1 million or something. It was something about that Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar both went in and created a tequila called Santos. So this is after his major success in selling of his other tequila. And there is a shipment of that tequila worth $1 million that somebody hijacked. And I don't think they ever did find it. Okay. Well, that solves that then. There you go, Pancake Punch. Go check Pancake Punch's channel out. And we're going to get out of here. Take a breath. Breathe deep. Let it out. Set it up. Stretch it out, you know. And take it minute by minute, day by day. Don't take it any more than that. Just take it minute by minute. Like that wonderful Doobie Brothers song. Minute by minute by minute by... I keep holding on. Man, if I could kick that stuff off right now, I'd be doing it. Was that the Doobie Brothers, minute by minute? But take it minute by minute, day by day, hour by hour. That's how you can really, truly live your life. The worst thing about this is just the setups. We gotta get out with a song, guys. I love you, baby girl. What you got in your ears, don't try to hide. It's the Shane Diablo Talkin show. Tells me all the news stories ready to go. All the news of the week. my friend Fanny.